Let me share the presentation with you guys. Okay. Okay, perfect. So good evening again. My name is June, and I'll be your moderator today. And for the topic is whose story is it? The ethics of turning murder into media. So it's all about true crime media, if you guys are familiar. Okay, so here's the introduction. I am a college student from PIB, Polytechnic International Bali, and I'm studying hospitality management. And I am an English enthusiast. I've been learning the language since I was very little, since I was probably like 7. And I'm a film lover, which is why this topic even came about in the first place. And I'm very passionate about humanities and arts. I'm also a writer in my free time. Also, I'm starting to pick up reading as a hobby. Okay, so first, a little bit of a background about the topic today. So if you don't know about true crime industry, so true crime industry is basically um, any type of media that is about crime, real life crime, that spans from podcasts, documentaries, books, even sometimes dedicated TV channels. And it's a multi-billion dollar entertainment and media market is something that is really big and is growing bigger and bigger by the minute. Okay, here's some examples. I'm sure some people have seen a couple of these, especially this one is Jessica Wongso in the middle right here. I feel like us Indonesians have probably heard of that case, and it was a really like big case around, if I'm remembering correctly, like around last year or maybe a couple of years ago, it blew up, and especially this documentary, I believe it blew up on the internet as well. We also have this movie which just released on Netflix, like I'm guessing a couple months ago, if I remember correctly. And we have a couple of samples of podcasts right over here, and these are YouTube channels dedicated to true crime media, which has really became really popular. Like Nessie Judge, if you guys know, he also does a lot of those true crime videos as well since like 2018, if I remember. Okay, so my first question would be, are you familiar or interested in true crime media? And if so, why? And let me see who I would like to ask tonight. Hmm. Or if is there anyone who wants to answer the question? Anyone who is interested, you guys can just speak up. It's okay. I don't bite. Okay, let me see who is the participant. Okay, maybe Mr. Andy, do you have any opinions?
Well,
Would you
actually,
like
I
to share?
don't really have any idea related to, especially to this topic. It's totally pretty new for me. But um, I know that media is actually, um, I think media is very important in our life because everything now, information is flowing through the media, right? And also, the media is very um, influencing to the development of the society nowadays. So, but I'm not really familiar to the crime of the media, true crime. Probably is a type of movie, right? But can you please elaborate more related to this topic?
Yes. So for true crime media, is more so like entertainment genre per se, where there's documentaries, there's podcasts, there's YouTube channels. It really spans from a lot of different things. But the concept is that it's based on true crime. So it's based on crimes that happen in real life and made into different type of content.
So it's typically types of a documentary like is it like an investigation report that trying to um uh portray that of the crime that ever happened?
Yes, it's like a retelling.
Mm, mm. Um Actually I think, yeah, back to my my first argument that I was thinking that yeah, the media power nowadays is getting more and more important in our society, as it's also for these types of genre that you said is, for example, it helps people to get the information to be more detailed, because it is not only presented in a way of like entertainment, but also helps people to understand um, the why and all the deeper information of like for an event, or maybe there's kinds of crime happening. But to be honest, I'm not really familiar to if it's needed to give an example. I'm not very familiar with the current topic, but probably if you may give some examples of it, it's going to be very interesting. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for your opinion. I really appreciate it, and I really appreciate your explanation. Even if you're not familiar, I really appreciate all of the things that you had to share with us today. And now for the next one. Okay, this is one of my lecturers actually. I'm really close to him, and he has been helping me throughout basically my whole semester, like this semester. Been a tremendous help. He's also the one who recommended me to become a moderator today. Okay, Sir Henricus. Sir Henricus Anung, do you have any opinions? Thank you for
No,
also
Uni.
joining today.
Just go on. Good luck for your presentation.
Do you have any thoughts? No?
Sorry. Yeah, Uni.
Do you have any thoughts, sir, for the first question? I would like to hear your
Uh,
perspective on it.
yeah. As a psychologist, I think I'm not really familiar with true crime media. Yeah, but
Okay,
a lot of cases, basically psychological cases, I usually face. Yeah, Uni.
okay. Thank you so much for the opinion, sir. And maybe we can move on to another participant. I see that we have a couple of new ones here. Maybe Mr. David, do you have any opinions? And also, thank you for joining.
Sorry about that. Sorry. So what is it? What's the question about? Is familiar? Is true crime
Yes.
media?
Yes.
Is this a serial about like uncovering murder or something?
Yes. If you like some examples, like here. So, basically, documentaries like true crime documentaries, YouTube channels, podcasts. Do you have any opinions, any thoughts, anything you'd like to share?
My experience is a bit an outlier this time, right? Because I have to
Yeah.
admit my girlfriend is a forensic psychiatry. I mean, used to do forensics, right? So like the amount of materials I got exposed
Okay.
is way more hardcore than true crime, right? Not to
Yes.
mention on a personal level experience, it's also like I wouldn't elaborate, but you get the idea. And also like
Yes,
if you
yes.
have access to internet back in the early 2000s, right? Some of the medias that you see, right? It's way unregulated back then. It's like
Yeah.
I wouldn't name the website, but it's way more hardcore than true crime. So I would say that like true crime is in that kind of perspective. I would say that it's not so bad, because like they censor a lot of things, right? Than what would people normally see in real life, right? I mean, no, I wouldn't
Yeah.
say normally. I mean, like I would say if you imagine that you happen to be of a forensics, right? and then you go into the crime scene, it's way more censored, in the true crime, because the reality is just way more gnarly, I would say. But yeah, it's still a better value. I mean, like if I would say that I'm interested mostly in, like how it uncovers, rather than, the event itself. So yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for your opinion. I really love your perspective. I think that this is going to be really interesting later on. Thank you so much for your opinion. I really appreciate it. Okay, so for the next person, I see that we have Mr. Ririn. Do you have any opinions? Any thoughts on the question?
I think maybe like a little bit similar with Kat David, like but in my perspective, like yeah, I'm quite interested to end true crime media because it actually like helps me to how to say understand how like real criminal cases happened, like probably about the history or any kind of topic that probably let us know the truth, right? So like if I can say like about the history of Indonesia when it has like how to say in Indonesia call it like kejadian like let's say kejadian 98 recently, it is
Oh,
so
okay, yes.
famous right now. Everyone like discuss about it. So it led me to understand what happened at a time, right? So,
Yes.
but not only that, I also sometimes interested on any true crime media, like especially from YouTube. But it depends on the topic itself. Like, I would say like, but yeah, I will watch any kind of this kind of informations, but depends it is really interesting or not, or it gives me new knowledge or not. So yeah, I will try to I will consider before I watch it. So yeah, that's my opinion.
Okay, thank you so much. I really do appreciate your opinion and your take. And let's move on to the next question. And for the next question is, what do you think is the purpose and benefits of true crime? What does it provide? So is there anyone who would like to answer the question first? Oh, I see we have another person joining. Um, I think Mr. Hanum, is that right, Mr.?
Hi, Miss. Maybe you can,
Oh, okay.
because I just joined.
Oh, yes. So, Miss Hanum, yes? Is that correct?
Maybe you can skip me right now.
Okay, yeah, no problem. We can ask another person. Okay, so Mr. David, I actually would really like to hear your opinion about this because I find your perspective really interesting.
Me again.
Yes.
I think that, like purpose and benefits that I think with the true crime, I personally haven't watched much of a true crime, like, okay, think about it like this, right? I'm going off tangent a little bit here, right? Because like this, something more relatable to me. It would be, like Chabi Emo, if you're familiar with it. Right. I mean, it's going to be equivalent. It's
Yes.
basically like a medical breakup of something into some situations, like like a case, it's medical cases and stuff like that. It's sometimes a bit, like can be horrible if we aware of it, right? But it's just going to be equivalent, right? So basically, right? I mean, if you are not a medical person like me, I'm an engineer, right? Right. It is basically a gateway into something that otherwise we wouldn't know, right? Like sometimes, I wouldn't say kids, but if we're interested, let's say like if we're teenagers, basically like a 15 years old, right? And we're still wondering what will we do in our life, sometimes these kinds of things actually show up, like oh, so this is how they do this, so this is how they do this, is it for me? No, then perhaps no, I'm not gonna it is not gonna do it. But if it's for me, I'm interested in it, then maybe it gives them idea of what they want to do, let's say when they go to college, right? But like it's more it's a bit sensationalist, right? with the true crime, because in real life it wouldn't be that way, right? As my girlfriend can say to me, that real life forensics is way different, but it basically gives you some ideas, like in a sanitized way that doesn't invoke censorship by the government. This is what happens, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes people go too far with it, like I take it as an inspiration, right? I admit, because what I know one guy did that, and we stopped him before it did that. So right, but yeah, but most of the time it's basically a good educational info, right?
Hey, that is really great. Um thank you so much for your opinion. I think that it's a really, really good one. I really appreciate it. Okay, so let me ask Mr. Andy. What do you think about the question?
Well, I think the purpose and the benefit. First, the main purpose of the true crime genre of movie and open access streaming website like YouTube or any other websites. Well, the true crime is like a public information provided by a certain group of people that trying to depict the events of crime. But sometimes it doesn't necessarily a crime because to be considered a crime, I think it's supposed um, to be stated on to be stated formally by the law enforcement officers, and um, so sometimes it related to as long as it is related to crime. Well, I think that the types of movie can be considered as stuff of this movie. And probably I'm just thinking of some of the, for example, and probably it is still very very hot in Indonesia, like pesta babi. Probably it is also can be considered as a true crime genre that fileable publicly for people that made by people who advocate for justice and try to raise awareness among the society. Like, for example, this Pesababi is raising the awareness of how the injustice happening now in Papua. Um, so, but yeah, it was just for example, whether we agree or disagree to the contents. But I would say yes, that this types of movie is also used to kind of influence and um, bring the attentions of the people to what certain group of people think is necessarily think it's necessary to be aware of. And the benefit, yeah, that's it also helps especially for people who now being discriminate or under injustice, and especially when they are not publicly known and well exposed. So I think these types of movie also can very very useful. But for the bad sides, I don't know. Let me think. Probably you still have another question related to it directly. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Actually, wow, bring up Pesta Babi is something that I never really even considered of. I didn't even consider it before I made this. So thank you so much for your opinion. I really appreciate it. It opens up a new perspective for me. And also now I want to ask another person. Actually, I would like to ask Sir Henry, again, I would like to know, maybe is there any type of benefit in psychology, in psychology instead of just in society per se?
Okay, is it the question is asking about the purpose and the benefit of the true crime behavior or the true crime media?
The true crime media, yes.
Oh, so I think the purpose and the benefit of the true crime media is to give us awareness, awareness to about something, a phenomenon or situation, a condition that that criminality happen. For example, when uh, tadi siapa tadi? It was I heard about tragedi 98 gitu ya. Yeah, that's to give us to give the society awareness about what happened in certain country, for example. So yeah, that's the purpose uh, of the true crime media. And the benefit is when you have awareness, it leads to intervention, it leads to change, it leads to transformation, to transform your current situation to desired situation. I think that's the purpose and the benefit of the true crime media, Juni.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate your answer. Okay, and let me ask another person, maybe Miss Hanu. Do you have any opinions?
Miss Hikmah is raising her hand.
Oh, yes.
I just want to elaborate the answer from all participants. I think I noticed the point that the benefits, the purpose and benefits, it's about increasing the public safety awareness, increase the awareness from the society. I think the purpose and benefits, I really agree that it can educate people about a predatory behavior or harmful behavior, and also give us a warning sign that, oh, this kind of behavior we should avoid, and we have to know the signs so we can protect ourselves, and also for our personal safety. And I think also the benefits, it could uncover the corrupt practice in an institution while working on that case. For example, wrongful convictions or a prosecutorial misconduct in ways that formal institution failed to do it. And I think when we record or give a documentary movie about some cases, it's also increased the empathy for the victims, right? Maybe the case for sexual harassment or something else, it can make the society empathize for the victim, and then think in victim's perspective. But actually, it depends on how the story to be told and who is the perspective is centered.
Hey, all right. Thank you so much, Miss Hikmah, as well. I think that I really appreciate that point of view, and I really appreciate your opinion. And I think that, yeah, that's really what is the conclusion of most of the opinions that we already have. Is there any other opinions that may be different from that? Maybe you disagree on some of the things that have been said. Maybe Mr. Ririn, do you have another opinion?
I think I almost have the same answer with Ka Hendrik and also Ka Andin or Hikmah. Like, how to say, the benefit from this true crime media, it actually gives us like awareness, right? We can learn something from that history that told us by this media, and then it gives us what we need to do to prevent that how to say, that thing to happen right now or in the future, something like that. So yeah, I agree with the previous answer. It actually gives us like more awareness. I think that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Ririn. So basically, we can conclude that the answer to this question is mostly about awareness and about giving us something to be wary of in the future and maybe to change in the future. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. And I think for the next one, we actually have a case study. So I want to show you guys a little this case. So have you guys ever heard of Chicago the Musical? I think it's actually airing in Broadway right now. Like they're in Jakarta. I think that they're actually performing that. Does it have anyone heard of the musical or maybe even the movie?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. So basically, I would introduce to you guys this figure. So her name is Will Ann, and she is the inspiration for the character Roxy Hart in the musical Chicago. And basically, as the case goes, she was accused of murder during, I think it was 1920s Chicago. And it was because she shot and killed her other lover, Henry Kinsler, after a lover's quarrel. And the case blew up at the time, but it wasn't really because of the murder case. It was because she herself is very beautiful. As we can see here, she is a really pretty lady, and people focus on that. And because of her appearance, it actually impacted a lot with the case and how um, the case progressed and how justice was served. Okay, so with that, the next question is: do you think that true crime media has an influence in changing people's perception? Hey, does anyone want to share their thoughts and opinion? Mm, okay, maybe I could ask somebody. Maybe Miss Hanum, do you have any opinions?
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. So I think so because true crime media has an influence in changing people perception. Like example, like me. So I think it's related with the before. I mean, like a previous slide, yeah. And as I hear that some people in this meeting say that if the true crime give an awareness for some people, and I think yeah, because when the why I can say like that, because examples like me, uh where how it can influence me and changing my perception, because actually I don't know many uh true crime in the real life, yeah. So when I know it through the media that's upload on YouTube or TV, or yeah, I can watch it, it truly influenced me. So I think uh when so you know that so many government pencitraan in media in public, when I know the true crime, when I know the real news about that, I feel like, oh my god, I think they are so bad, right? So that I think we need to, I don't know why, but I think we need to choose uh the right people, right? I mean, like our president, or yeah, some people in politics or government, there are so many give pencitraan in public, but in reality they are so bad to us as a citizen. So I think that's why it can influence me and changing my perception about the politicians. So I think enough from me.
Okay, thank you so much, Miss Hanum. So basically, because of true crime media, your perception of something that politicians are doing good changes into something that when the truth comes out, you realize that that was all fake. I think that that's a really good opinion. Thank you so much again. I really appreciate it. And now let me ask maybe Mr. Andy, do you have any opinions on the question?
All right. Thank you for the chance. Well, I think it's very true that the true crime media as a documentary can influence people, especially when it can be accessed publicly by people and through the websites. And I think the how long the influence extensions to the people. Well, I think it really depends on how good the documenter makes the documentary. It's also involve skills of making movie, and but some of the people may very skeptical to some documentary movie, especially when it is not based on facts and it is not well double checked, and because it could mislead people, right? And
Yes.
so I think this is also the downside that needs to be for the people to be aware of when they watching this kinds of movie, like how well this types of movie has been reviewed. And I think people need to be very very carefully on checking thoroughly of this type of movie, like what's the base, what's the fact. So people want, yeah, because I think that it is the another sides of influential movie, and people need to be very very careful on what they consume. Is it a fact or fake news? Yeah, something like that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Andy. So basically, you need to be more aware of whether or not the media is truthful or not. I think that that's a really good perspective. Thank you so much again. I really appreciate it. And next, I would like to ask Mr. David. Do you have any opinions?
Like, does the true crime media has an influence in changing people perception? How do I put it this way? Like, is as any things in media, they do have influence in changing people perception, right? Like, if I were to say, like, there is a thing called, like lying by omission, right? If I were to say a situation, right, let's say a murder, right, and I say just say it as a man killing a woman, right? How would that resonate to people? That would be interpreted as, oh yeah, if you're on the online communities of it, if you already hate man to begin with, right? You're gonna, oh yeah, of course, man
Yes.
is a piece of evil, right? But like in the sense of English word, man can means it means a person, right? Doesn't mean it has to be male or female, right? You know that you can say man to refers to both sides, right? Even though it's shouldn't be done, but people still do it anyway, right? Then you realize, oh, it's a girl killing another girl, right? Or like if there is a statistics that needs to be attached. Oh, this is the man of a certain kind of communities, with the targeted killing, and then we remove these ideas. Then of course, like we do not know, like we just gonna understand it as is a generalized man killing women, right? So basically, like in the true crime media, right? And we have to no, we have to understand, like people believe what they want to believe, right? If we watch something that
Yes.
we generally do not want to agree with, we're just gonna shut down the media, right? We just close off, change it to next channel, right? That's the thing, right? And then, these showrunners, right? They basically do not care if it's actually true or not. Well, if it's 100% true or not, they just care if you are engaged or not. Engagement numbers and everything. It's basically their metric of success. So they will basically try, if in a less honest way, they will try to make something that gets you hooked on, even if they basically have to feed you into something that you just want to believe to begin with, right? And they basically have lots of market research, for it, lots of questionnaires, lots of, case studies, whether people gonna react well to it or not, and then if people react well, then they just make it, even though it's not completely correct. For some people, it will just reinforcing their own already belief, so, and we can make an argument that, oh, this is just one, yes, confirmation bias test. Thank you, Andy. Thank you so much. It's maybe just one media, but it's a series of medias, right? It's a series of episodes that you grow up, like especially when your worldview is getting, more shape to it, and then you watch it. For every time you watch a media, you do not watch the other thing, right? You only have limited, like attention span, right? So if you watch it continuously, your worldview is getting increasingly shaped by it. You start to adopt more of the showrunners' worldview, right? It's not like, oh, I watch it once, then my worldview changed. No, you have to watch it continuously, right? And then you watch another series like that, right? And that's gonna be your worldview, right? It's going to be, set, right? So yeah, it does. It can change people's perception, like it changing doesn't mean that you have to like completely from A to B. No, you do not have to. You basically make it from A to another extreme of A. It's already a change, right? So you become an extremist of something is also a change, right? This is the kind of change that normally people don't want to talk about, like they basically talk, but oh, I stopped believing in that, that. But true crime, yes, they basically will talk in such a way that, you get hooked on to it, right? Even in a way that, supposedly something that we shouldn't even talk to about, for example, like how beautiful the person is, which is like it all happens so many times, oh, I mean, you see, she's a murderer, but she's beautiful. Why would she murder? Like even on crazier situation, like there's a murderer, who manages to get, a love letter, after, killing his pregnant wife, right? That actually happens, like those kinds of people, right? So, but people still focus on it, right? Is it correct? No, it's not correct, but people get hooked on it, and that's why media pick it up and they feed it to you, right? It will happen in many medias. That's all.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. David. That was a really great. I really actually agree with what you are saying, with how it can also build biases, and also people can be really hooked on something and just focus on things that it's not even relevant to the crime, but because of the fact that they're so attached to it, they're focusing on it. I think that that's a really good perspective. Thank you so much for your opinion again. I really appreciate it. And actually, I would like to ask Sir Henry, do you have an opinion maybe in the psychological lens, like maybe in psychology? Is there anything that could be explained more?
Yeah, for something to influence perception, it needs to be meaningful. Like if some information is not meaningful, then how can it change my attitude towards it? For example, yeah, I know that a girl murders someone, for example, but yeah, I do not know the girl, and yeah, she's just a usual and casual girl. Yeah, what's the meaning for me? What will be make a difference if I agree with that? Yeah. So what do I need to change in my own perception? Yeah, if that's not meaningful, then I think that's yeah, just useless, I think. Yeah. So if you want to influence something for example, in this matter is people's perception, it means that the people should have a meaningful perception first towards the information. I think that's my opinion, Junie.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for the opinion. I think that that's a really good perspective, something to think about, definitely. I see that we actually have a newcomer. Yeah, we have someone who just joined. Mr. Ghazi, is that correct? Or is it Mrs.? Or am I pronouncing your name wrong? I apologize. Hello? Do you have any opinions on the question? Okay, I see that you might not be ready, so maybe we can ask another person. Okay, how about Mr. Maratua? Do you have any opinions on the question? Mr. Maratua, do you have any opinions?
Sorry.
Yes.
So far, I don't have an opinion about question because I'm just joined. But maybe in the next topic slide, in the
Okay,
next
no problem.
question, because I don't understand the historical discussion.
Okay, it's okay, no problem. We can, if you like to join on the next question, you can also do that. If you want to answer the next question, it's okay. Take your time.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Maybe Miss Hanum, do you have any opinions on the question?
I already answered this question before, Miss.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. I must have mistaken. I'm really sorry. Okay, maybe we can move on to Miss Ririn. Do you have any opinions?
I will not giving my opinion actually, but I just learned something. Like probably I will agree with two answers before, like from Kat David. I probably agree with him that any kind of information from the media probably will influence us, right? Whether it is bad or not, right? But and then Henry answered with it depends on the how to say the information itself. If it is what kind of that information is about, if it is good for us and like how to say can influence us, let's say to be or to say like we can take something good on it, so probably it can influence us. But if it is not, so we probably just like just let it be something like that. So I'm not giving my opinion. I just learned something from those answers. I think that's all. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for the answer. I think that both of I think Mr. David and also Sir Henry really gave us two really good answers to really think about. Okay, so maybe we can move on to the next question. And for the next question is, does true crime media help achieve justice or does it risk interfering with legal processes? Does anyone want to answer it first? Maybe I could ask, okay. I see that Mr. Andy raised his hand. Do you want to answer the question?
Oh, yes. Well, thank you for the opportunity. Well, I think it depends. As I said before, it I think it's gonna interfering with uh the legal processes if the documentary is made before or while on the legal process is currently ongoing. And I think we need to be very skeptical on these types of movie if it's not yet legally binded, because um, probably what they are sharing is not yet examined, not yet examined in the courts, because the functions of the courts is exactly examining the facts and all the stories surrounding the cases, right? Who, what happened, why. Because sometimes what's on the surface isn't exactly what exactly happening, right? So I think we need to be very, very, very skeptical if it's made before or currently uh, on the process of the judgment. And well, I think we need also verify all of the information that we consume. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Andy, for the answer. I think that is a really good one, and I think that is something to consider, especially with a lot of social media being something that is very it's produced in a really fast way, and sometimes even when the case is still ongoing, there's already new media coming out and already people talking about it. I think that is a really important thing to think about. Maybe this will affect the legal process later on. Okay, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And Mr. David, do you have any opinions on this question?
More of a hindrance, I think. Yeah, it doesn't help the Chief Justice. It only sensationalize it, right? And only pressure the judges to make a decision, that the people like. Sometimes that if it's a functioning world, then yes, it shouldn't affect it. But do we believe that Indonesia, the legal system works that way, right? Or rather, like if people's not being affected by, like the sentiment, right? Right, the bigger the case, like people's just gonna, oh, it should be this, and then the judges make a certain decision, and then some people get the bright idea, bright quote unquote, right, to go into the judge's office and then, just throw some, terror bombs on it. Yeah. This is why, sometimes, like my friend, in the law school, sometimes, like fear, not necessarily of, being, like being targeted by some people, right? But sometimes, some people, he just walk around, and then, like the other person who's aware, start later, start, judging him on the spot, for what he made, what he decided to, right? So it's basically like if it's uncontrolled, it can be justice by mob, mob justice, right? So, like most of the time, like if we keep it as educational, then it is as it is, But if we sensationalize it too much, then yes, it can be detrimental, to our legal processes, Because like why would, like if you know that you are being targeted, if you make a certain decision that affects someone in legal room, would you still do it, right? Yeah, that's the scary part,
Okay, thank you so much for the opinion, Mr. David. I think that the key word really in that question, in that answer, is mob justice, and how with the pressure from the media, it could also interfere with the legal processes. I think that's a really interesting thing to think about. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And maybe I'll ask Mr. Ririn, do you have any opinions?
Yeah, I think, in my opinion, it can do both, like whether we can achieve justice or interfering the legal process. It depends on the crime itself. And how to say, like we can achieve justice by give more awareness to the people. Like something that happened in Indonesia is maybe David mentioned, like no viral, no viral, no justice in Indonesia, right? So by giving like more awareness to people to make sure that we get the justice, so yeah, we can probably achieve that. But sometimes it also can happen for how do you say, like interfering the legal process, like when we give the information to the media, and then all people in Indonesia will give the comments, right? And then they will judge early, right? So by this kind of thing, sometimes it also can interfering the legal process, right? Like once it happened, maybe a long time ago, like I forgot the name of this school, like they get, how to say, they get kids like abused or something, and then all people Indonesian like support her, right? Like everyone really care about her, like giving their support, their best support to this school. And then it turns out when they get the justice, because everyone aware about this kind of problem, the fact is the problem is the girl itself. So everyone know the fact that something, how to say to explain, like something that happens, it's actually not true by the information that giving by the school, right? So yeah, everyone already like support to her, already like giving the early comment or early judge, something like that. But it turns out it's wrong. So yeah, it actually also can interfere in the legal process. So in my opinion, it can do both, whether it depends on the crime itself, and it depends on the people in how to say, people respond to this. I think that's my opinion, Kak. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Rin. So it's more like a double-edged sword where it could also help people, especially the people who are not being heard. Their voices are not being heard. They're not being seen by the justice system. But also it could interfere with the opinions, since people can make their own biases, people can make their own opinions and already pick sides even though we don't know the full story. I think that's a really great thing. I really appreciate the answer. I think that is a really good one. Thank you so much. And maybe Sir Henry, do you have any opinions on this?
Yeah, I agree with Miss Ririn. Yeah, yeah, that's a good opinion. Totally agree.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. I think that Ms. Rin does really have a good opinion on this when it's something that is not really right or wrong per se. It's just kind of in the middle where it could be something that is good, it could be something that is bad. I think that is a really good opinion. Again, thank you so much, Mr. Rin. Maybe I could ask Mr. Maratua, do you have any opinions? Hello, Mr. Maratua, do you have any opinion? Okay, I think that maybe I can ask someone else. Maybe Mr. Ghazi, do you have any opinion? Okay, I think we can wrap up and go to another question, go to the next question, and that is, for next question, does true crime media unintentionally glorify murderers by making them famous? Does anyone want to answer that question first? Okay, maybe I can ask somebody, maybe Mr. Ririn, what do you think?
Yes, Kak, did you call me?
Yes.
Ah,
Would you like to answer the question?
wait, let me think. Does true crime
Okay.
media unintentionally glorify murderers by making them famous? Oh, yeah. It can be 50-50 in my opinion, because sometimes,
Okay.
how to say, like our media in Indonesia, like need more KPI maybe, yeah. Like, once I saw, like, I don't know, like maybe podcast or something, how to say, they invite this person to their podcast, which is, this person is actually influence. Oh, I remember. Like if you remember about Sumanto.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Yeah,
I know
if
what you're
you
talking
know
about.
about him, I'm so sorry I mentioned the name. Like if you know about the case or what probably he did, it's actually a really terrifying, right? Really, how to say? Yeah, something that not something that we probably, how to say, need to avoid, right? But instead of that, like the media calls him, and then the media called him to come to the podcast or what something to tell the story, and then the host or something, the mediator or something, asking questions about probably how he felt about something that what he did. And then I think then I was really shocked about that question. How is possible this host like asking this kind of question that probably in Indonesia, I mean, all people in Indonesia will watch it, right? And probably it's really dangerous for the kids, right? So yeah, sometimes how to say, like our media need more KPI about this kind of thing that probably not giving any how to say, any crime, how to say, people that do crime like more famous or something. So yeah, I think that's my opinion, Kak.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Ren. I think that's a really good example, actually, of if I remember correctly, his name's Sumanto. I remember the case as well. I know about that case, and I think that it's a good example of maybe the things that would happen if we make murderers or criminals famous and give them that spotlight. Okay, so for the next person, I would like to ask. I see that we have a new person joining, Miss Dinda.
Iya, halo.
Oh, Mister. Okay, Mr. Dinda, do you have any opinions on the question? Would you like to share?
Actually, I really like to share it, but I don't really understand the question. Miss, could you tell me a little bit? I mean, explain about the question,
Of
because
course,
I'm
no
just
problem.
joining.
Yes, no problem. So, what this question is really about is, do you think that the like true crime media, so basically people who are reporting on crime, like people who are making content based off crime, do you think that they're making these murderers look more, maybe even um, look better in a way, basically putting them in a better light by making them famous? Do you think that giving them a spotlight is something that is bad, or is it something that maybe could be good?
Oh, sorry, I don't really understand. Maybe next question, Miss. Next question I can
Okay.
answer.
Or maybe
Okay.
do you still need some help with me explaining it? Okay, I see that Mr. Andy wants to answer the question. Yes, Mr. Andy?
Thank you for the opportunity. Well, my opinion is I forgot who was mentioning this previously. Was it Sister Hanum or someone? But I do really agree that this also can uh, give a spotlight for people to be very, very famous in a society, especially if their case went viral, because not all of the cases documented in these types of um, crime. What's the topic? Crime.
True crime media, yes.
Yeah, true crime media documentaries went viral, right?
Yes.
Like for example, Kopi Mirna, the cyanide poisoning. People would probably, if you ask people randomly in crowds, uh, maybe I would say high, highly. I think it will be very very high potentially people will remember. Oh, I remember Kopi Mirna and this the cases, blah blah blah. They will explain it thoroughly, but uh, connecting it to what I forgot was the girl mentioning this, but um, especially when these types of crime is heard by kids, I think it will be very very uh, demanding for the parents to explain it thoroughly because the kids will ask, what's this case's mom? Why did yeah, I think um the media also needs very very carefully to post kind of uh crime documentary to the public, and I think it needs to get through censorship to protect our very vulnerable generations. And then is it glorifying the murderers? Well, I don't think it necessarily glorifying all the murderers because as I mentioned in previously that um, these types of documentary also helps society because society is consisted of good people and also bad people. Well, for good people, this can be kinds of reminders to be very very uh, cautious in daily life. But for the bad people in the society, well, I think this is can be kind of also a reminder that they are being watched and they needs um, to stay away from kinds of crime. But it also in another side give like a sense of idea or inspirations for people. But well, I think people will just do what they want to do. But again, they're always good and the bad sides comes together at once. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Andy. I really appreciate it. Okay, I would like to ask Mr. David. Do you have any opinion on the question?
About this, like true crime media. There's a media, someone viral in the social media. His name is Wade Wilson, and if you're familiar of Deadpool, yes, he was familiar because of it,
Yes.
right? Yeah, because he accidentally has the same name as a Deadpool, Wade Wilson, right?
Oh, I
Now
just
he
knew
was,
that actually. For the
yes,
character, yeah, I know about Wade Wilson, but I didn't know about the murderer Wade Wilson.
yeah. You can Google him, like you know what he did, and then like it just happened that he shared the same name. That's why he became famous to the point that apparently speaking, there are so many fan mail coming to him, right, that the sheriff has to receive 4,000 online messages, 754 photographs, in which 163 of it is kind of explicit, let's just say, and 65 physical letters, yes. So yeah, Some murderers do get famous. Where I mean, it's also given, like some people are stupid. Let's just call it that way. Some people are stupid idiots and they have no idea what they want, right? So basically, they still find a murderer and still manage to get like still fall in love with him. So yeah, it will happen. Like you have true crime media. The guy just happens to be handsome, or the girl happens to be beautiful, and then we will have some people thinking that, oh, I can fix him. Oh, I can fix her, and they'll get famous. That will happen. Yes, sure. I already see the cases. Yeah, I already believe. Don't do that, guys. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't be that kind of person. Like, don't be, I can fix him, I can fix her. No, nothing good will come of it. Please don't do that, guys. Don't do that.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. David. I think that the last part is actually pretty good advice. But also, what he was explaining, actually, I've noticed also in media as well. I see that some people would even go through that links after a crime was being reported, and then the murderer got famous for their looks, for something superficial that shouldn't really even be a topic of discussion, but it is. And unfortunately, it's just something that happens in society. Okay, so I see that we also have another person joining, Mr. Al, or is it Mrs. Al?
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much, by the way. I'm just joining this Zoom, so I try to get along. I think I
Yes.
will not answer this question for now. I just want to know what you guys discussion here first, and then after I got something new to talk, I will try to raise my hand later. I have
Oh
no
yeah, no
idea for this
problem.
question then.
So we're discussing true crime media, and we're discussing like true crime media is basically a genre of media that is podcasts, movies, documentaries, YouTube videos that is discussing real life crimes and making content off of it. So this um, question is based off that. But if you like to if you like to raise your hand to the other question, we can also do that. Okay, so I think I would like to ask. I think another person is raising his. Okay, Mr. Ghazi, do you want to answer the question?
Okay, Miss Juniata. Thank you
Yes.
for opportunity. Sorry, maybe last time you said my name, but actually I was on road in car.
Okay, no
But right
problem, no
now I
problem.
already free. So maybe I just want give some opinion because I didn't join from the beginning in this
Yes.
session. So I think I just want to talk about documentary of one of the genre right now is famous one. I think about the Jeffrey Epstein. Maybe you all know about that documentary. I think in my opinion that the crime documentary about Jeffrey Epstein is so huge of the bad crime, right, in the world. I think so many association with the government, the most of the top people. So I think the bad documentary can make the opinion of public is going to making bad people can be more clearly about their crime. Maybe it's important for us the information, but I think it's many possibility like so many documentary episode from Epstein movie that not already exposed, right, until now. So I think in my opinion, is the media true crime in genre horror is like it is really uh, it's really make our opinion for a person is good or bad. I think something like that.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Ghazi, for sharing. I think that was really good opinion, and thank you so much for sharing again. I would like to ask, I think for the last person for this question is Sir Henry. Do you have any opinions on the question?
I think the purpose of the media is to give us informations, yeah, about something or someone. So, does the true crime media unintentionally glorify murders by making them famous? I think, yeah, that's the side effects, yeah, the side effect of the media. The purpose of the true purpose of the media is to give us informations. But if that happen, if the murders are be glorified by the side effect of the media, then I think it has to be in our responsibility to not idolizing them, not to give them like what the kind of role modeling them, yeah, not not try to make them as our role model, yeah, because what will happen if a lot of people uh, modeling apa namanya imitate or modeling the behavior or the how they think and how they act in certain kind of situation. I think it will be bad. But if the how they think, the model of the mind of their behavior can be benefit us for a prevention program, then it is one of the good thing behind the unintentionally glorify murderous thing, I think, Junie. Yeah, that's my opinion.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. I think that this is actually a really like something you can really think about how instead of focusing on I guess the person itself and the crime itself, actually focus on what the mind and like focus on what they were thinking, and maybe it could be like a prevention. I think that that's really something to think about. Thank you so much again, Sir Henry, for that. Okay, so
You're
maybe
welcome.
we can move on to the next. Maybe we can move on to the next question, and that is, so I want to show you guys this. So for this one, it's an example of how much one of these true crime documentaries made. So for O.J. Simpson, I feel like some people have heard of O.J. Simpson before. So the case was that he was suspected of killing his wife, and till this day, it's still an unsolved mystery because throughout the trial, basically they couldn't come up with anyone to suspect of the murder itself. And throughout the years, there's a lot of documentaries that have came out about the topic, and one of them actually got to upwards of $1 billion. So I want to ask, what is your opinion about that? What is your opinion about true crime media being something that people profit off of? Does anyone want to answer that? Does anyone have any opinions? Maybe I could ask Mr. Al. Do you have any opinions? Okay, maybe we can move on to another person. Maybe Mr. Andy, do you have any opinions?
Well, I think. Oh, thank you for a chance. Well, I think it is yeah, inevitable for the media to be. Well, I think, yeah. Sorry. There are people can be gain advantage of these types of movie crime, right? So that's why still aligned with what I said previously. Um, the media, there are stakeholders who also have interest on crime documentaries, and like they are not making documentaries. Sometimes it doesn't always. Um, they are not only making documentaries for free. They also comes with very specific purpose, like some of the people mentioning they want to influence people, whether in a good way or bad ways. But also in here the media, the mainstream media, like especially when we see on YouTube, they monetize it, especially when it went viral. They will gain more ads from it, so it also make them very very profitable, and especially when it comes with millions of clickings, right? So it would be very very, and if we see now, it's also some of people, because like there are documentaries made went viral, people also becoming like the aggregator of the commentaries. Like some people on YouTube also want to gain advantage and gaining profit from it. Like they're also making reviews, remaking it, and making it more viral or making commentaries on it. So especially for these types of um, genre, I think is very very needs to be very careful, especially when it went viral, because we need to very very um aware of hoax. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Andy. I think that was a really good opinion. Thank you for sharing. I would like to ask another person. Maybe let me check. Does anyone want to answer the question? Okay, maybe I can ask Mr. David. What do you think? What do you think of the question?
Well, it's a media. They want to make profit from it. You know, it's not technically illegal. Compared to something more recent that happens. Like somebody pay 400,000 for doing something, which if you are aware, then you know what I'm talking about. If you do not know, then I'm not gonna elaborate, right? So, but it's not something illegal, right? Information is not something illegal unless it is determined to be illegal. So they basically make profit from it. So what? Yeah, we still enjoy it. Ironically speaking, there is a demand for it and there is a supply for it. They do it well. They got the profit. Simple as that, right? Is it ethical? Depends on who's either on each the person. It kind of depends. It's not something that hard cut. But is it legal? Yes, still legal, I would say, right? So no, it's no problem. It's no problem unless unless it starts affecting too much of the legal proceeding, then it might be a problem. But then again, monetary stuff, nah, it's no problem, right? So far, no problem. But sorry, I was
Okay, thank you.
focusing on something else. I was focusing on something else entirely, like designing a weapon. So continue.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much, Sir David. I think that that's a really interesting perspective of like, oh, it's something that is legally okay, but ethically, is it something that is okay? A little iffy. Okay, thank you so much for that. Thank you for sharing. I really appreciate it. Maybe I could ask Mr. Dinda. Do you have any opinions?
Okay. Can you hear my voice? Is it clear?
Yes, yes.
All right, thank you. For me, I think it is not something new that we can take a benefit from everything that happen in this world. I think that it's not only about criminalization, murder, or something like that we can take benefit. Just even if someone's die in
Oh, I think the okay, Mr. Dinda, you there? Yeah, I think Mr. Dinda is not here. Maybe we can move on to a different. Does anyone else want to answer the question? Maybe Mr. Ridin, do you have any opinion?
I just maybe a little bit about I'm sorry. I think what Kat David say is true. You know, if there is like how to say any podcast or YouTube, they probably give this kind of informations like about how to say like how to say, like crime or something, and then the people like it, so of course they will get the profit, right? They get a profit because there is the market, there is the what is it, or is the informations that probably people need, and then this media provide it. So how to say like um wait, I think I'm playing. But yeah, they got a profit because there is the market, right? Because as I take another example, like we call it, I wondering, I'm sorry, maybe I'm talking not based on this topic. Like I recently wondering, I mean asking questions to myself, right? Like how to say Omara, like giving like horror informations. I wonder why everyone likes it and why everyone really want to watch this kind of information, which is makes us like afraid, like how to say like yeah, afraid. Everyone will afraid because of that informations, but they I mean she got famous because there is demand on it, there is the market, right? So yeah, I think that's probably fine or okay if the media got a profit because we also get the entertain from that information, right? But I think there is how to say big mark that we need to consider. Once I read about informations like how to say like I'm sorry, maybe this is okay or not to give, like there is outside for any crime for the psychopath, you know, there is like a private site for them to learn about it, right? So that kind of things that we need to how to say be aware of that. um yeah, I think we need to how to say be aware of the informations that we got from the internet or the website itself. If any kind of true crime media that probably give us like big I mean bad effect, so we need to how to say, we need to do something on it to prevent actions that how to say makes us feel, let's say, bad or something. So yeah, we need to consider about the informations that we got from the internet. I think that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Faririn, for sharing. I really appreciate it. Okay, maybe we can ask another person. Maybe Miss Al, do you have any opinion?
Oh, yeah. Actually, I could say that I agree with a lot of previous speaker. They just talking about the ethical, a lot of thing about that. We are on the same page, but I think I just want to put something here when we talking about making profitable through what sharing the crime media again. We just need to thinking about um whose story that we are actually remembering, because sometimes when someone brought up the crimes, they just putting the highlight. For example, this is just the latest video that I watched from Nancy Judge in the YouTube. They just talk about the second winner master chef from Malaysia kill, well, how to say that, kill the assassin, which is from Indonesia. And then the people just remembering the murder, not the victims. So I think that's the thing. We need to take a look deeper when we sharing about how to say that, the case like this. I think that's all from me.
Okay, thank you so much, Miss Al. I think that that's a really good perspective. That's something that is really worth sharing and something to think about. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it again. Hey, maybe I could ask Sir Henry. Do you have any opinions?
Yeah, I totally agree with all of the previous speakers, yeah. But maybe the question is more about uh does it bad, yeah? Does
Yes.
the true crime media being something profitable is something bad gitu ya? Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, it depends. It depends on how we see the profitable meaning gitu ya. Like if that media is supporting a lot of people or community that has a lot of needs, then yeah, it's the profitable means it goods, it bring a greater goods for the society. But if the profitable here means something like only give benefit to a certain kind of individual or group by manipulating information or by hidden by by hiding some of the information, I think that's bad. Yeah, the profitable here means bad. So yeah, that's my opinion.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Henry. I think that kind of gives us a conclusion of what really is the opinion of this question of like, yes, it could profit people to like maybe so then they would know about things are happening, but also to profit and to benefit off of it. Like monetarily, monetizing off of something that is a tragedy is also something that is bad. Okay, I see that Mr. Ghazi raised his hand. Do you want to share your opinion?
Thank you. Maybe I just want give some same opinion with before person answer. I think there is no there is no ethic problem in here, but actually it's like kind of the strategy to profitable for the uh, hunger of public uh, network profit, because I think they can move the people because the kind of do you know guys about
neuroscience. I think there is some correlation about neuroscience with true crime media here because that's the one of the strategic from from the from the media that help the people or the society uh, to to make more deep information about detail of that true crime media itself. So I think that's a tricky. I think tricky strategy to making profitable. But I think it's depend to us if we want to more deep about that information. I think we should buy it, right? I think if we can think more clearly or I think more positively about good news and or bad news, I think it depends on us. Like if the people with the more good knowledge or intelligence, they cannot help to the advertisement of the media. I think something like that.
Hey, thank you so much, Mr. Gati. That is really, I'm really grateful that you shared that. I'm really appreciative. I think that that's a really good opinion and something to think about. Okay, thank you so much again. Maybe I could ask Mr. Sunshine. Is there any, do you have any opinions? Is there anything you'd like to share?
Yeah, I suppose there have been a lot of opinions that believing um, it should be profitable. I mean, like if we look at numbers of stakeholders related, for example, like the people, the medias, and even the criminals themselves, I believe that in terms of the criminals, it would be a way for them. It can be a knife. It can be having like two coins back. Like for the criminals, they can actually learn and evaluate how to be more effective and efficient in doing their crimes in the future. This is something probably dedicated for them because after being evaluated by the medias, they know how to conceal. They sharpen their minds on how to be more careful in doing the crimes. At the same time, this can create how to say it's like deterrence effect. Okay, because the moment the crimes is exposed to the public, they will be more reluctant to do the crimes because people becoming more aware of what needs to be anticipated in the case. So there should be a more anticipation or some regulations preventing the same crimes to happen over and over in the future. This create something like invisible, impenetrable fortress in the eyes of the public because like people overseeing this case together, right? And in addition to that, I would also believe that um, the media can somehow blow this up to to cover or to max over something that is like probably more important, and this is something more political. For example, like um uh I don't know, it's like many times like Epstein files when it's released in the public, right? Um and somehow nowhere um US and Iran war happening, right? This is something that probably we need to be more how to say observant. Okay, because like the crime media probably can be an instrument used by the government to cover something that is more important, to blind the eyes of the people to see the truth after the truth. And this is something profitable for the media that is picked up by the government. So it's like killing two birds with one stone. Okay, the case which is leak and can somehow how to say, bring more detrimental effect on the reputations of the government is somehow being buried into the ground. And at the same time, media being backed up by the government can not only obtain some profits, but also having a better, stronger access, like in the positions among all other medias, for example. That's in my opinion. Back to you.
Okay, thank you so much for Sunshine. I think that that's a really great opinion. That's a really great answer. I really appreciate it. And I see that I think I saw that Mr. Dinda raised his hand in the chat. Would you like to give us your opinion?
All right. Thank you. Sorry, my connection was unstable. Okay, I
Oh,
think it
it's
is.
okay.
I think it is okay to take a benefit from some news or from something criminals or from media that I think everything can be beneficial for people because we also as netizens we need more information and someone who can share the information and take beneficial from it. It's something okay and not only criminal news but also even people die and someone also take beneficial for them such like they dig the grave or they sell the flowers or something like that. So that is a chance for us as a human being to take to not to take benefit but to give information or to help them and let's say the beneficial become our bonus so everything happens we take a chance and we get benefit. It's a bonus because we help people to share something, to share new information or to help them and we get a bonus from what we help from people. And what else? And yeah, I think just it.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Dinda. I think that that's a really good perspective that you have, and I really appreciate it. And also for the last questions, actually, so this is for the last question. Should there be ethical limits on how graphic or detailed murder-related media can be? Does anyone want to answer that question? Okay, I think for this one, I think I would like to ask Mr. David first. Do you have any opinion?
You really like to make me to answer this kind of question, right?
I think that you have a
Okay.
really good, like you have a perspective that is really refreshing for this type of topic. I think that you do have a perspective that is fresh. I really
Yeah, it happens
appreciate
that my life is not exactly a beautiful life when I was a kid, because first time I see someone losing their life was when I was 12. I'm not saying dead people, I'm saying someone, from a life to die at 12 years old, on the spot. So yeah, it's no stranger, but we have a psychologist here. So yeah, it's going to be, I'm not sure how often do you see someone get used to it that early. So anyway, so should there be an ethical limit on how graphic or detailed murder-related media can be? Yes, I think they already regulate it to some degree. First of all, like for example, I'm not sure, I'm okay. Personally speaking, I'm okay if there is a blood. I'm okay. It's a, the it's a given fact. You see blood every time, right? But sometimes, like something that you're gonna watch on television or on YouTube, right? You do not show gores. So basically someone getting mutilated, you do not show it, right? Those kinds of things, right? Basically anything showing, like loss of limbs, amputation or something, with the still exposed insides, right? You have to cut it out, right? Just close it. If it's just a minor wound, then basically that's fine. If you have to censor it, then it's basically getting iffy. But like that's for mass media, right? A vet, like on television, YouTube, or basically something that a kid can access, you have to censor it, right? But, 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 but I know that there are some places it offer more, detailed version of it, right? But they're not exactly, something that controlled by the government, right? For example, like back then, it was Live Leak, right? I mean, I'm not sure if it's still there or not. It's basically like don't watch it. If you cannot stomach it, don't watch it, right? There's a reason for the censorship, like because like you know in a function for functioning people, right? We try to stay away from it, right? We try not to watch it, because it's so unnatural, so unholy, right? That like you just want to puke. Some people just puke the first time they see, someone lost their life on the spot. They puke. I did puke first time, right? Like sometimes, like there's a natural reaction to it, right? It's normal, right? It doesn't mean you are weak for it, right? It's normal, right? That's why they censor it, because to some degree that we shouldn't make entertainment of it, like I mean, like yes, the fact someone's being murdered is like it's kind of iffy that we already make entertainment of it, but some people enjoy a little bit too much of it. That's where we draw the line, right? And then some people, less healthy people, they take it as I can do worse than that, right? It's crazy. Some people actually, those kinds of people exist, and my girlfriend has to deal with those kinds of people on daily basis, on the psychiatric ward. So basically what happens is that, yes, keep it in moderation, right? There has to be ethical limits, right? You cannot just show it, unless you have something to do with forensics, or if you're a policeman, if you're a military, if you're a doctor, if you're forensic, then yes, sure, you have something to do with it. Then you need to have unrestricted graphical information of it. But this is most people are not that. Most people are just people who has nothing to do with it, right? It's just students, just teenagers, or someone barely finishing high school, right? They don't need to know that, right? They don't need to know that. And especially if you get to see that so early in your life, you're gonna get desensitized. Trust me on this. You're gonna get desensitized so quickly, right? You're gonna turn into something closer to psychopath, right? So yeah, there has to be a limit on it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. David. I think that that's a really good opinion and a really good message of how, yes, there should be ethical limits, since it could also have a lot of big impacts for us who are just, normal people who don't really have to learn about these things, who can, in fact, just kind of ignore it, avoid it. We have the privilege of doing that, but yet there's media like this that kind of makes us learn about it, makes us curious about it. Okay, thank you so much. I really appreciate it again. And also, maybe this might be like the last person I'm gonna ask, but I think I'm gonna ask Sir Henry on this, since I think that there's also a really big part of like psychology in this, and I would like to hear your opinion about it, sir.
Yeah, I agree with Sir David. Yeah, the journalistic coverage of, for example, of murders related media requires a moderation, a delicate balance between the public rights to know and the duty to minimize them. The ethical frameworks and also the regulations should restrict graphic details. Yeah, it is important, and then also protect vulnerable victims, especially for children underage. Yeah. And also, I think it must uphold the presumption of innocence for suspects. So the limits must be to protect the regulation to protect both of the victims and the presumption of the suspect. I mean, like we have to show some compassion for grieving families. Yeah, for example, in the case of family murders or uh, a lot of people involved in that situation. Yeah, we need to show some compassion for the families that still grieving for their family member. Yeah, for their member. And the second one is to protect, I think. Yeah, protect the victims and also the suspect. So yeah, back again, the true sense of the true purpose of the media is to give information, but what kind of information must be supported by compassion. I think that's all, Junie.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for the perspective and for the answer. I really appreciate it. I think that that's a really good, yeah, that's a really good answer, and I really do agree with it, with how it also benefits in protecting victims and also suspects, because since we all have been talking about how it impacts us as societies watching it, as the audience, basically, how it impacts us as audience, but not about the victims, about the suspect, the people who are involved in the crime and people who are affected in the crime. So I think that that's actually a really good thing to think about. Thank you so much, sir, for that. I really appreciate it. And I think we still have a little bit more time. So does anyone else wants to answer the question before I pick someone? The time is yours. We still have a little bit more time. So if you want to share something, you can do that. Okay, I think I would like to ask Mr. Ghazi, you have any opinion on this question?
Okay, thank you, Miss Juniata. Okay, maybe I want to answer about should there be ethical limits on how graphic or detailed murder-related media can be? I think it should be uh, right now for the most of modern society. The industrial media using self-regulation and structural barriers, I think. For example, I think we all in here know about age gating and rating, right? Like if we maybe watching some movies uh, in cinema or playing game, it will be like a warning from the beginning if the age rating. If they are under rating, maybe you should not to watch this film or playing this game. And I think from the beginning of the documentary or the movie, we can see the content warning, right? It should be like what is content in the film at first. Maybe we can see itself from the beginning, from the cover, maybe from the teaser. And I think there should be the legal hardline also, like explicitly banning content that involves real or non-consensual harm. Maybe I think from both of industry media using for the limitation for the give the information, and for us as a
as a consumer, we can also make our barrier to understand what we actually see in the movie, what they what contain in that game or cinema. I think it depends on the our maybe awareness itself.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Ghazi. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you sharing your opinion. I think that is a really good one and something to think about. Again, thank you so much. Miss Hikma, we still have around 3 minutes. Is it okay if another person answer and give their opinion? Or okay, all right. Okay, maybe last one. Miss Al, do you want to share your opinion?
All right, then. Actually, after listening to everyone's perspective tonight, I think this discussion showed that the true crime is about more than crime itself, you know. It's about ethic, about media social responsibility, what else? And about how the society chooses to remember people. So I think they might be not the perfect answer, but I believe um to simplify this question, I believe we should always ask whether we honoring a real human story or simply we consuming about it. So I think that could make this topic become more important. And again, the fact that as a viewers that always can be watch multiple murder cases like in every day we just waiting it would for the next case we try to think what will happen about this so it makes us changing how to say that how do we see the real tragedy behind it so I think to conclude yeah mm, we should be we should how to say that we should to think we should to think th- that crime happened because how do you say that? No, this crime can be happened, but the point is there are also people life there that need to be respect. So I think that's all for me.
Okay, thank you so much, Miss Al. Um, this topic is more than just true crime and more than just about crime. I think that's really good words to close off this topic today. And we still actually have a couple questions, but because we don't have enough time, maybe next time we can also do that. But thank you so much for today's discussion. I think that it went really well. And I apologize if I make any mistakes or if there's any words that I may have said wrong. I'm a little tired today, so my brain is kind of like mush. It is a bit, I'm not really thinking as well as usual, but I really appreciate you guys for having me, and I really appreciate all of your opinions. You guys really gave me a new perspective, something to think about, and I really enjoyed my time. Thank you so much, guys. And back to Miss Hikmah.
All right. Thank you, Miss June, for sharing our discussion tonight and all for all of the audiences. Yeah, you guys give me also a new insight about how to see this problem. And I want to say that true crime is actually double-edged sword. It gives us a value about the story itself. It teaches us. It improve our empathy, our awareness, and then think about the victim. And also, it has a serious and consistent responsibility about the story. Some of the media only focus engaging stories or profits without think about the victim. And yeah, we have to think about the side effect of the media and also the story. Remember that this is a real story, a real people, real family, real lives, and yeah, it's a real pain that didn't end when the episode did. So yeah, be responsible and be aware of the side effect of the media. All right. again, thank you so much. And before we end this session, I would invite you guys to open the camera so we can take a picture to document this session. All right. Please open your camera, guys, and I would like to invite Mr. Sunshine to take a picture of us. Are you still here, sir? Guys?
Oh iya, sure. Anjir, Dinda Suti, Mr. Zul. Gaplay.
All right. Maybe June. Could you stop share first?
Oh yeah, no problem. Hold on.
And then we could take a picture
Okay,
together.
there you go.
All right.
Oke nih.
Okay, June. Could you open your camera, please?
Oh, okay, hold on. I didn't even realize it wasn't open this entire time. Let me check.
Hey guys, let's go, man.
Oh my God.
Udah, night time ya. Siap.
Yeah.
Menyusul ntar. Siapa nih? Al. Let's go. Gimana nih? Are you there?
Mr. Andy and Mr. Al, could you open your camera, please? All right, maybe we can just take a picture, sir.
On my way tuh loh. Sorry, on my way.
Oh, all
Oke.
right, okay.
Tunggu sebentar ya.
Go on, go on.
Oh, go on. Oke. Anjay, siap. Oke semuanya. On the count of three. First pose. 1, 2, 3. Nah, tahan. Oke. Gonna save it first.
Also with the certificate, sir. Let me share.
Oh yeah, sure. Oke.
Wait.
Belum kelihatan.
Yep.
Kok lama ya?
Oh, nggak bisa ya? Udah kok. Wait.
Kelihatan nggak, teman-teman?
Enggak. Bentar.
Ah, ini dia nih. Oke.
Belum ya? Udah
Iya,
ya?
Udah.
Oke.
Oke. Another smile. 1, 2, 3. Oke. Yang terakhir. Oke. Oke, yang terakhir. 1, 2, 3. Oke. Cool.
All
That's
right.
it. Back to you.
Okay, thank
All right, thank you,
you.
Mr. Sachin, for helping me. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining our discussion, and see you next week. Bye. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Congrats,
Delta, ya.
Thank you all.
Yes.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Jun. See you
Thank
all.
you so much.